Alright, this is a very spontaneous video. I wanted to do some kind of video tonight after doing the Batman Begins one last night, which I really enjoyed. And yes, that kind of was a middle finger to Hot Toys for their laziness when it came to this most recent 1/6 scale Batman Begins figure. See, the frustrating thing is everyone in the comments for that Batman Begins video saying that looks perfect, that's the way he should look. There's no reason why Hot Toys can't do that. And we'll go into that later. I'll show you the two heads side by side. So that's the head sculpt from Hot Toys, that's the Ben Choi custom. There's quite considerable size difference. But anyway, it's a very spontaneous video. We're going to try some stuff. I'll show you a comparison between the custom head and the Hot Toys head. We'll talk about that and some more stuff. That's Ben Affleck's. Okay. So yeah, excuse the mess, folks, but we're going to be trying out some little things here, and I thought I'd involve y'all in it. So it is frustrating because all the comments I get or have received for the last video on this piece here saying that's how the figure should look and it looks perfect, and I agree with all of that. I mean, that's why I got into the links I did making them look this way, is because I was striving for perfection. Batman Begins is the reason I started this channel. You know, it's the thing that triggered this whole needing to own something so that I could take pictures of it and just enjoy it. I love the look of the suit from the film so much. And there's no reason why Hot Toys can't give you this, you know? I mean, what they're going to give you, I'll remind you on the screen now, you can have a look. I just don't think there's any excuse for that, given including the quarter scale, this will be the 5th time they've made this particular version of Batman. You know, if you know your stuff, and that's the thing, either they don't care or they don't know what they're doing, because if I was in charge, I'd be like, okay, we want the cape to not be thick, double layered, horrible material. We need this, and this is not a big deal. You know, like Nick found some of this stuff and gave me the material to make some capes for our Batman figures. At some point I'll do that, but this kind of material is not hard to come by, and it's not that expensive. There's no reason why a light bulb can't go off over someone's head at Hot Toys HQ and think, you know what, let's do it, let's do the cape properly like it appears in the movie. I mean, this material, I'm gonna put on the fan here. But this is the kind of material you want. This fan doesn't really blow as strong as I was hoping it would. but that's the kind of material you want, something that moves like that. I mean, I'm pretty sure all these 1/6 scale companies are striving for perfection. And I just don't see why they can't. It's simple. It's not, you know, it's frustrating. That's all. And for those of you getting your knickers in a twist saying that I'm crying and complaining, it's not for me, it's for you, and that's the thanks you get. Basically, I want you guys to have a better. Like I say, there's no reason why you can't have that. There's no reason why Hot Toys can't think, do you know what, that cape, now that we got that fixed, what would be a cool base for this guy? We used to include cool stuff like this, they still do, but this is the Spider-Man 3 just kind of stone diorama, and it's cool because you can either have it look like kind of a church, kind of a building, or then turn it around and it's just rock. I mean, why can't they just reuse this like they've reused for other figures? They used the Predator Jungle Hunter base with a Star Wars guy recently. They've used the Terminator Battle Damage T-800 from Terminator 1 base on an Iron Man figure recently. Why not just repaint it more of a kind of like the Rock looked when Bruce Wayne fell into the cave? More of a kind of blackish, maybe even brown kind of rock. Just repaint the damn base and fix the cape. Put the cape clips where they're supposed to be, here above the tip of these wings here. They're not supposed to be up there, they're supposed to be here. And you know, his gauntlets in the movie, they're clearly you know, more shiny than the ones Hot Toys are giving you. These are the accessories from the Toy Fair exclusive Batman Begins Hot Toys figure, which is what you're getting, basically just copy and pasted in a new box with a new base. But you can see how they, you know, the only reason you're getting any kind of shine right now is because there's light everywhere, you know, pointing right at me. So they are just a dull matte finish, and they should be more like these. These are the Takara gauntlets from the Takara Batman Begins figure. I'm also using the Medicom Dark Knight boots. As you can see, they're like a really nice tough vinyl kind of, like, don't know quite what that material is. But yeah, so that's my point. Don't fall. But I just want you guys to have, you know, like I was happy for you guys when you finally were able to get a 78 Myers from Trick or Treat Studios and it was a good sculpt and good coveralls. I was happy for you guys because I'm not one of those people where I'm like, oh, I want to be the only one who has something and I want to lord it over everybody. No, I love people seeing posters and pictures of their Myers figures and their Batman Begins stuff and all that, all the good stuff. I want you guys to have this, and there's no reason why you can't. I mean, part of this is a Hot Toys. Like I said, the body, the suit, and the belt is Hot Toys. The head sculpt is a custom by Ben Choi. This material, custom cape, is from Jackson XU. Like I said, boots from Medicom, Takara gauntlets, and that's about it. But there's no reason why you can't have that, and it frustrates me that you're not going to get it. Because that's how he should look. And the great thing about this material is it's so easy to just put it over his shoulders and boom, you're done. Look at that. Right, so I've got a bunch of different belts here. So I might switch out the belt to something a bit more light. I know in the Batman Begins it was a bit more of a darky kind of bronze sort of tone. But I'm going to jazz it up a little bit. I'm going to update his belt for one of these. And I'm sure they'll include it in the end. At least I hope they do for you guys' sake out there. Leaving comments on my video for this figure saying, I'm so glad Hot Toys are reissuing this figure. Now they're not, mate. You're not getting that. You're getting Pigeon Man. That's what you're getting. But they're not even including a grapnel gun from the looks of things. Like I say, I'm sure they'll chuck it in at the last minute and, that'll be that. But yeah, there's no picture of him holding this. You don't seem to get this with the most recent repackage. Jesus, man. Batman Begins, my favourite film of all time. And it's, I'm not even gonna go there. But it's not getting the respect it deserves from, Hot Toys. They're just not showing it the respect it deserves. Alright, so we got more kind of gold. I'm not sure what this is from, to be honest. I mean, obviously it's from a Dark Knight or a Batman Begins, maybe. Alright, so that's where his oh no, it is Batman Begins because the phone is there. You'll only get that with Batman Begins. Okay, so which Batman Begins is this from? That's interesting. But I'm probably going to swap that out because that will jump out more. It will kind of stand out. I think that will be interesting. So I'm going to go with that. I'm pretty sure this is the Medicom one. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's the Medicom Dark Knight belt, which is a nice belt. Very nice. Oh, that's got a phone too. Damn it, I don't know what I'm talking about. Has this got a phone? Have you got a phone? Nah, that's just a plain one. That's just a plain one. Don't know what it's from. Looks a bit more Batman Beginsy to me because it's got a darker tone. Could be wrong. But what the... Okay, so... Yeah, no, that is definitely the Medicom because I remember because it's, to be honest with you, it's not as high quality paint job as the Hot Toys, but still really, really good. But I remember the Medicom one, I never took it apart at the back, so it's always been intact like this, and I had to kind of wiggle it down his legs and get it off him, he says. But why has he got a phone? Maybe he did have the phone in the Dark Knight. Oh, I don't know. There's some werewolf hands from the Sota Toys Dog Soldiers figure. But let me swap out this belt. I like this one. Now I don't know what to do because this is the belt I was about to take off, but it does have this little hinge here that the grapple gun can go on, which is definitely a Batman Begins thing because in the Dark Knight you see when he's in the garage it's kind of hanging from here on his belt. So I don't like I do like the darker kind of tone. I wanted a more gold kind of look like this, but that doesn't have that on the back, so I wouldn't be able to do this with the grapnel gun. I don't know what to do now. Should I do that? Oh, that looks pretty cool. Just chuck that there and get this really nice material, like a nylon kind of like a waterproof, like the real cape. That's what they used. They used what was it now, parachute silk flocked with hairs to make it look like velvet. They had to punch the hairs in themselves. Madness. They did originally use velvet. You've heard me say this a bunch of times, but it got waterlogged. So they went with this is the material you're supposed to use, basically. This is what you're supposed to use for Batman Begins. Even quarter scale. I got one of these in quarter scale as well, which I'm actually going to be setting up tonight as well. I'm a bit tired of looking at him in the first night out look, so I'm going to switch him back to the full Batman Begins Batman look. That's the Hot Toys one. So that's another little thing I'm going to do. So yeah, should I change the belt? I kind of like knowing that his grapple gun's back there, and that's a very Batman Begins accurate thing. You know, you clearly see him reach around the back when he's been poisoned and he's in the alleyway, and he reaches for his grapple gun behind his back and then shoots up and goes up into the roof. Alfred! Alfred! Such a good film. God damn it. I'll probably leave that belt then. Let me see if I can find some little batarangs to stick in this little section here. It does give you some perspective though when you think just how many of these figures required a custom cape to get them to look half decent. You know, the BVS cape was terrible that you got from Hot Toys, so that was a custom cape jobby on him. The Arkham City Batman, his cape wasn't awful, but it's nowhere near the way it looked in the movie. It didn't come over the shoulders the way it should do like this. It's a Jackson custom cape, I believe. And then the Armory Batman over here have a Jackson cape on him as well. That's a kind of movie accurate length one. The cape on the Batman here, that is the stock cape. That one is actually not too bad. So Hot Toys did alright with that one. Some nice weathering on that too. Then we had the, oh god, one of the worst. The Batman Returns stock cape was terrible. This is another custom cape. I believe that's Jackson as well. But that was definitely necessary. And obviously the 89, that might be the Unreal Customs wired cape. That was definitely necessary as well. That was a terrible cape to work with, the original one. Obviously the Demon Batman by Hot Toys, that's a custom velvet cape that I kind of melted and burnt. But the stock cape that he came with was terrible. And the where is it? His cape, the Dark Knight over there, that was pretty bad. So that's a custom velvet cape on him. And then that big Batman Begins, his cape was pretty short. Yeah, just a lot of bad capes. So I just don't see why they don't put a bit more thought into the capes. Like I said, this material was not exactly difficult to get or that complicated a situation. It just does the job. It looks right. And coming back to the eyes again, I mean, on the custom Ben Choi head sculpt here, I can move these eyes. They're independent. You put your finger up and you can move the eyes left and right, up and down. It's really helpful. By the way, I think Ben Choi was going for the exact moment with this mouth plate, the way he sculpted it and painted it. Obviously the eyes, you can move them, so I've got them looking slightly up here. But the kind of dimensions of the cowl, the thickness of the neck, the direction, or the kind of slight lean in with the head, this, I think he's captured perfectly the moment when, in Batman Begins, he comes and saves Rachel when she gets off the rail. What do you call it? Monorail? Was that The Simpsons? I don't know. But you know, when she's about to get mugged or murdered, and they were going to make it look like a mugging went bad or whatever. But when she turns around and tasers Batman, it goes right on his chest, and the camera kind of zooms in, he's perched on the railing. That moment, I think, is exactly what Ben Choi has captured here. Sorry, I can't talk, but you know what I'm saying. I think he did an amazing job capturing that. But we've never had moving eyes from a Hot Toys Batman Begins figure. And we had it with the Dark Knight Rises quarter scale Batman, and we've had it with 1/6 scale Dark Knight suits from Hot Toys. Moving eyes, it's really helpful for Batman. We've never had it with Batman Begins. Now the Ben Choi head, you can move the eyes independently. You can just stick your finger up inside and just move the eyes left, right, up, down, whatever you want to do. But I don't understand why they took away that feature for the quarter scale Batman Begins, which came out after the Dark Knight Rises one. And they just took away the feature. And I've always thought that if any Batman head sculpt, you know, you really want moving eyes because it will just elevate it to a whole other level, it's the Batman Begins one. I always think of that moment when he, towards the end of the film, when Ra's al Ghul turns up with his ninjas and Batman swoops in and he says, "I can't take two of your pawns," and he says, "As you wish," and then another one turns up and he kind of has that really fierce look on his face, and you get a close-up and he just looks to his right or whatever. Being able to recreate a look like that and just being able to move the eyes with a Batman Begins figure, it's essential, really. I've just done it now just to give you that quick little example. Just have him looking off to his right. So being able to do stuff like that is just a lot of fun, especially with this kind of cowl, this kind of animalistic. And quote Bale, he says, "Gives you such a huge neck. You're like like a feral animal. You just look like you're gonna pounce on someone all the time." And that's what I love about this look so much. So being able to move the eyes around certainly helps with that. But shout out to Enterbay, man. Back in the day when they did their quarter scale Batman, you know, from The Dark Knight, but it was the Batman Begins suit. And they designed their cape. It had a kind of split here where you could see that they kind of stitched it or put it together a different way so that this part would drape over like this. Because on the cape clips here, you want the cape to come here and follow that exactly. I mean, that's how it just kind of naturally draped. Obviously, it's so easy to just, you know, put it over his shoulder if you want to. And it still looks accurate. But you want, like I said before, you want the cape clips to be right in line with the tip of these wings here. And Ben Choi obviously glued these on himself, so I haven't touched those. That's just the way they were. I've put his eyes looking really up now, so now he looks really pissed. But again, that's why you want moving eyes for Batman Begins. Very frustrating, folks. And like I said, it's not for me, it was for you. I want you guys to have a better Batman Begins figure. I'm cool, I got this. But I don't see why you guys can't have something this awesome as well, with just a little bit more thought put into something, a little bit more love, man, a bit more love for Batman Begins. Why not? It's a damn good movie. It's my favourite film. Forget about it. Alright, so I'm just going to give you a little visual comparison between the custom Ben Choi head sculpt and the Hot Toys Toy Fair exclusive head, which is what you're going to be getting again with this 5th version that they're going to be releasing in the near future. Bear in mind the cape clips have been glued on to the cowl there. That's not how yours will be. They will be embedded in the shoulders of your figure. So we've got obviously a more narrow look to the Hot Toys head on the right here. Much more narrow. Longer ears as well. The ears seem to be longer, which doesn't help with that kind of long neck pigeon look that it can have. As the side profile. So, you know, it's not bad, but it's just once you really start to do your homework, and I've got lots of books covering the trilogy and all that stuff. Ben Choi's sculpt is definitely more accurate of the two. There's just a lot of room for improvement with the Hot Toys sculpt, and that's the one you're getting, you know, for all the folks getting that new one. Plus his nose seems, I don't know, is that a little bit too pointy? I don't know, maybe not. Let's check out the back. Check it out from the back. There's the back view. Definitely more of a kind of thicker transition here at the back of the Ben Choi, and more of a kind of narrow as it gets to the top with the Hot Toys. Not too sure which one's more accurate there, but I know I like the look of this one better as far as being on the figure. I'd have to really go check that out. There's only one really good scene in The Dark Knight at the beginning where you get decent look at the back of his neck as he's looking down, about to jump down on Scarecrow's van. But I've always said it is all the little details that come together to make something really accurate and impressive. It's all the little details. Alright, so just trying to give you a little bit of a better look here. There's a weird thing, I'm reminded now to mention, there's a weird thing that happens with the forehead at certain angles on the Hot Toys one that doesn't seem to happen with the Ben Choi custom. There's this weird kind of protrusion with the Hot Toys one. It just looks a bit strange sometimes on the, just above the brow. I don't know, it's a bit much. And it's just, I mean, both these heads will go on that body I've been using, but they are pretty drastically different in scale and just all dimensions and size. I mean, this one's longer from the tip of the nose to the back of the head. That one's obviously not as deep as that. I mean, you can see how much height we have here. I mean, it's coming right over this one's head. Even the top of the head here is much higher than this one. The sort of length of the neck is shorter. This is just altogether too long and narrow, really. I mean, you can really see how narrow it is from the front. You definitely want a bit more girth. Yeah, the Ben Choi is just miles better, proportion-wise. Zoom in. Here's some of that zoom. Oops. Yeah, there's something up with the forehead on the Hot Toys one again. Something about the ears too. Way more defined. Way more definition. But yeah, that's probably what I'll call this video. This is what you should have got from Hot Toys or something like that, because as I said, there's no reason why they couldn't have done this. You know, I think the idea of including, basically just make it easy for yourselves, Hot Toys, just re-release this Spider-Man 3 diorama stone rock base thingy, just repaint it maybe a darker rock and improve the cape to something like this, put the clips in the right place. I mean, you know, I don't expect you to go and resculpt the whole back cowl and make that perfect. I wish you would, but I mean, let's be fair about it. Just revise the cape clips, gloss up those gauntlets a bit, and give them something cool like this. And remember, folks, this splits in half. It doesn't have to be this tall, for those of you thinking, but that wouldn't work in my Detolf. You can break it in half here. You can see the seam, and you can have it just be like that high instead. That still might be tight, but you know, just something like this, because you want Batman Begins Batman to have the option of being able to perch, especially when his cape can do this iconic Batman Begins kind of look, which is very unique to Batman Begins. All the other Batman movies, you never really got that look to this extent. I mean, obviously the Keaton cape came around him, but you didn't really see anything quite like this. Go ahead and hit that fan again. It's really not a very strong fan. It's not doing jack yet. Maybe now. There we go. Go on, give me some flap action. And you could have this kind of fun if Hot Toys would just pull their finger out of their bum holes and give you a decent cape like this and a nice little rock base, because Batman Begins deserves it. It deserves the proper treatment, and considering it's the 5th one now, they've had their chance, and I'm kind of at the end of my rope when it comes to that. But like I said, I've got mine covered. I was just disappointed in general, really, and just like I said, disappointed for you folks. I want you guys to have a really good Batman Begins as well. Maybe someday. But forgive me for my little fun rant video. It's just very spontaneous. Like I said, I wasn't planning on doing this type of video tonight. Wasn't sure what I was going to do, but this is what I ended up doing. I still didn't get around to setting him up as the Batman Begins look. Maybe I'll check in with you. I'm in a Batman Begins kind of place at the moment, folks, so you'll probably get another Begins video in the near future. I'll make it about the quarter scale one or something. But until then, drop a like on the video, make sure you subscribe, and check me out on Instagram at dknight333. And check us out at our store, The Figure Pit, www.thefigurepit.com. Check us out on Instagram too. Yeah, I sound a bit grumpy at the end of the video, so I'll cheer up a little bit. Like I said, look, it's not about me wanting something. Honestly, I wanted better for you guys. I can't stress that enough. That's really where a lot of my frustration came from when I made my thoughts video on the new Hot Toys one. Because it's baffling. You know, they either don't care, they don't think it's worth going back and adjusting things and correcting things and making things better for the collector. And that pisses me off. It's not the first time Hot Toys have pissed me off. But you gotta love them if they get to you. That's the thing. It's I've had a lot of good times with Hot Toys, believe me. I mean, there's a lot of stuff in this room I absolutely cherish that's made by them, like RoboCop and my endoskeleton up there, and you know, so much stuff to mention. You know, so it's because I love them that they make me so angry sometimes. So please try and understand that, folks. And I just want better for you guys out there. You know, when it comes to Batman Begins, I think it deserves the full treatment, and it didn't get it again. and that's upsetting. So who knows? Maybe if enough of you, stand up and politely, don't do the whole toxic thing, like, start a petition and all that. Just say, Hot Toys, we love Batman Begins, and we sure would appreciate it if maybe you'd take a little bit more time and redesign that cowl and get the cape clips in the right place. And hey, D-Knight made this video showing a cape. You should look at that and maybe try using this material. That kind of thing. I don't, whatever. It's up to you. I'm good though, but I want you guys to be in this kind of situation as well. I just sit here for the last 2 days. I come in this room and I just sit here and I just look at this thing just like this. I'll just tweak the cape a little bit, and then I'll sit back and I'll put on the soundtrack on YouTube, which I can't play you guys unfortunately because it get copyright trouble. Man, the video I uploaded yesterday, if I could have used the actual Batman Begins score, that would have been incredible, but I've learnt my lesson as far as that goes. But it's crazy because I've been doing this channel, I don't know, my concept of time is a bit weird. I hope I get it right, but it's got to be heading on to getting close to 14 years or something, 13, 14 years, I don't know. But I've been doing it a long time, and it was because of Batman Begins that I started the channel. And here I sit now, all this time later, come such a long way, and here he is again, Batman Begins. We're talking about the same thing. It's a funny old world. First world problems, I know, believe me, but this is what I'm here for. I'm here for, entertainment and a bit of enlightenment as well. Every now and then, drop a little bit of wisdom. We had some fun with Gandalf, didn't we, the other day? And Gandalf was saying hi to the collection. That was alright. That was all spontaneous, by the way, not rehearsed. And someone said it was clever how you overdubbed the audio and all this. Is like, no, that was literally me doing my voice and then Gandalf's voice, having a conversation back and forth while handling Gandalf and while operating the camera. So I wouldn't dare call myself a genius. I think that'd be bloody arrogant. But if any of you out there fancy dropping that one in the comments, then I'm not going to delete that. So fair play to you. But look at that. I'll end it like that and get the logo in there as well. Oh, hello. Yeah, that's the thumbnail. Do you know what? That's the thumbnail.